It was the kind of winter afternoon where the sun seemed to vanish far too soon, leaving the landscape washed in pale gray. Highway 17 stretched endlessly through the flatlands, a ribbon of cracked asphalt flanked by bare trees and the occasional forgotten gas station. Drivers who traveled it often described the road as lonely, but for Claire Winslow, it was familiar. She'd driven this route countless times between her college in Raleigh and her parents' home in Wilmington. On January 14, 1998, Claire was making that drive once again, just as she had so many times before, but this time would be different. This would be the last anyone would ever see of her. Claire was 22, studying journalism, known by friends for her meticulous nature and her ever-present leather-bound notebook. Her professors said she had an instinct for stories, the kind that pushed her to dig deeper than anyone else. That afternoon, she'd called her mother from a payphone at a diner off exit 44. The call was short, just a quick reassurance that she was on her way. "I should be home by 8, she'd said. Her mother remembered her sounding a little distracted, maybe even preoccupied. When asked about it later, she couldn't be sure if Claire had been upset or simply tired. What is certain is that Claire never arrived. Her car, a navy blue 1992 Honda Accord, was found 2 days later, abandoned in the parking lot of an old service station 30 miles from Wilmington. The vehicle was locked. Her purse, phone, and notebook were missing. The gas tank was half full. There were no obvious signs of struggle inside the car, but the driver's seat had been pushed back, too far for Claire's short frame. The last confirmed sighting of Claire came from a trucker named Howard Mills, who claimed he saw her standing beside her car on the shoulder of the highway around 6:30 that evening. She appeared to be talking to someone in a dark pickup truck pulled up behind her. Howard couldn't describe the driver. He said the truck's headlights were too bright. But he did remember one detail: the license plate was missing. When police canvassed the area, they found a few other witnesses who recalled seeing a dark truck that night, but none could provide more information. Investigators searched the service station lot and surrounding woods extensively. They found footprints leading away from the car, 2 sets, one matching Claire's shoe size and another belonging to a much larger person. The prints disappeared about 50 yards into the trees, as if the individuals had stepped onto a hard surface or been picked up by another vehicle. In the days following her disappearance, police considered multiple theories. Perhaps she had been the victim of a random roadside abduction. Maybe she had car trouble and accepted help from the wrong person. Or, as some whispered, perhaps she knew the person in the truck. The most unsettling clue came from a gas station security tape recorded less than an hour after Claire's last confirmed sighting. The grainy footage showed what appeared to be her car pulling into the station's lot. The driver wasn't visible in the shadows, but the person's silhouette didn't seem to match Claire's build. The car sat in the lot for several minutes before the driver got out and walked away, disappearing into the night. The tape's timestamp indicated it was 7:14 p.m. Police were never able to confirm if it was indeed her vehicle, though the make, model, and dent on the rear bumper were identical. For weeks, volunteers combed the surrounding counties, distributing flyers with Claire's photograph, shoulder-length auburn hair, brown eyes, a warm but reserved smile. Tips poured in from across the state. One claimed she had been seen in a convenience store in Georgia, another that she was working as a waitress in Virginia. Each lead ended in disappointment. By March, the case had gone cold. Claire's parents, Mark and Linda Winslow, refused to give up. They organized their own search efforts, holding candlelight vigils and pressing the police for updates. Mark, a former detective, developed his own theories, focusing heavily on the truck scene that night. He believed the driver was someone who knew the area well, someone who understood how to make a person vanish without leaving a trail. One of the more chilling aspects of the case came from a series of anonymous letters the family began receiving in April. Postmarked from various towns in North Carolina, the letters were handwritten in blocky, uneven script. The first read simply, "She saw something she shouldn't have." Another said, "It's better you stop looking." Police traced the envelopes for fingerprints but found none. The handwriting didn't match anyone in Claire's circle. Some believed the letters were a cruel hoax. Others suspected they came from someone with first-hand knowledge of what happened. The final letter, received in June of that year, contained only a single map of Highway 17 with a red X drawn near an unmarked dirt road. Investigators searched the area indicated but found nothing, at least nothing they disclosed publicly. Over the years, theories multiplied. One suggested Claire had stumbled upon illegal activity in one of the rural backroads towns, drug running, stolen goods, or worse, and was silenced for it. Another linked her disappearance to a string of unsolved cases involving young women along the same highway corridor in the 1990s. But without concrete evidence, each theory remained just that. Claire's story faded from the headlines, becoming one of countless unsolved disappearances haunting the files of small town police departments. Yet, for those who travel Highway 17, her presence lingers. Truckers claim to have seen a young woman matching her description standing by the roadside on foggy nights, waving for help before vanishing into thin air. Locals talk about the old service station where her car was found, now boarded up and overgrown, as a place where strange things happen. Radios picking up whispers, headlights flickering for no reason, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. Mark Winslow passed away in 2012 without ever learning what happened to his daughter. Linda still lives in the same house in Wilmington, keeping Claire's bedroom exactly as it was the day she disappeared. The leather-bound notebook, her constant companion, has never been found. For investigators and armchair detectives alike, the case of Claire Winslow remains an unsettling reminder of how quickly someone can vanish, leaving behind only questions. Who was in the truck that night? Why was her car abandoned miles from her intended route? And what did she see that, as the anonymous letter claimed, she shouldn't have? As long as those questions remain unanswered, Claire's last drive down Highway 17 will linger in the collective memory. A story without an ending, a case without closure, and a reminder that some mysteries are destined to remain in the shadows.